Hello and welcome. My name is Larissa and I was recently at Disney World. If you've seen my last couple of videos, one of them covered our trip to the Flower and Garden Festival and the other one was our Disney outlet haul. But I wanted to go ahead and also share all the other Disney souvenirs and whatnot that we got on this trip, but I wanted to separate them from the outlets because I went a little crazy there and there was a lot. So today's video is going to include all the souvenirs that we bought in the actual Disney parks with a couple of extra bonuses. Starting a little small with one of my personal Disney traditions. Every time we go on a Disney vacation in the Japan or China pavilion, they always have a bunch of beautiful folding fans for sale, and so I usually pick one out in either of those pavilions, and occasionally I can't pick one, and so I get one in both, and that was the case on this trip. So these were the two fans that I chose. This one is from the Japan Pavilion and it cost $14.95, and this one from the China Pavilion was only $10. And of course, one of the biggest things that everyone's been talking about lately in Disney Springs is Gideon's Bakehouse and the amazing cookies and cakes and whatnot that you can get there. It's a little bit of a hassle to get into, but since we are there on vacation and out of town, we thought we might be able to pull it off if we went on a weekday. Once you get to the actual location, and we showed up just about at open, just a little bit beyond that, the line is already getting pretty crazy and you have to sign up for a virtual queue. And it really just broke my heart to have to kill like 90 minutes wandering around and shopping at Disney Springs. Once we were put onto the virtual queue list, we were given an approximate wait time, and we were given this little card. On one side it lists some of their top selling key items, and on the back it was listing what their flavor of the month is, which changes every single month. So we were there at the end of February, literally on the last day of February if I recall. So it was the last day for the Eternal Flame cookie. So we were pretty excited to try a variety of cookies, and hearing how large and how rich they were, we were afraid to try and eat too much at once. So we decided to get several cookies and we would just take them all back with us to our resort room. So we wandered around Disney Springs for a little while, went to our must-have shops like a World of Disney and the Co-op, etc., etc., and then we were picking up our lunch from the chicken guy when we got the text that we were able to get into the actual line at Gideon's as opposed to just being in the virtual queue. So with our bag of chicken in hand, we made our way over to Gideon's, and we did still have to wait in line for 20-30 minutes, but eventually we finally did make it into the actual store. I love the decor and ambiance in there. It was very cool. It was surprisingly dark and spooky for a bakery, which was very interesting, and they had examples of all the cookies out that you could order and an amazing display case of cakes. I think we're definitely gonna have to try the cakes next time. They looked pretty amazing, but we decided on 4 different cookies, and we had those all boxed up very nicely to take back to the resort with us for later. Were the cookies worth it? Well, they were pretty darn delicious. I think if we'd had to wait more than the half hour in the actual line, I would say probably not, but having the virtual queue and us wanting to go around and do some shopping anyway, it wasn't too bad of a wait really, and it did sort of build up the suspense, and at least the line was shaded the whole time and there were lots of places that you could sit while you were waiting in a certain spot. And they did keep it socially distanced, and they had people wearing their masks because of course it's a Disney property, and so I felt very safe. It wasn't a terribly long wait and the cookies were pretty darn good. But moving back to actual souvenirs, it is not surprising that the majority of our souvenirs from this trip that didn't come from the outlets came from Galaxy's Edge. We were lucky enough that for the first few days of our trip, there was a 30% off discount for annual pass holders at a lot of the Disney merch places. So that was pretty nice, and we definitely wanted to take advantage of that. Since our first full park day was Hollywood Studios, of course, we had to hop by the little shops at Black Spire Outpost. My first pick was the Han Solo dice. I thought these would be really fun to put around the rear view mirror of my Miata because we're calling it the R2MX5, so it's like our little droid, and I thought that that would make a really fun little Star Wars detail to have these hanging around the rear view mirror, but they're small enough to not be super obtrusive or annoying, so pretty excited to get those put into there. These are $14.99, but then again, we got the 30% discount. Another little fun perk of the Miata is that I am becoming a hat person from that. If you know anything about riding around in a convertible, it's not so good for the hair. So my husband and I have both been wearing hats more often when we go on long drives in the convertible. So when we saw this little Black Spire Outpost hat, it just seemed like a really good purchase. So of course we had to get two so we can match, because we're that annoying couple that does matchy-matchy stuff, and I mean, why not? The hats are marked at $27.99, but of course we got the pass holder discount. They're a pretty good quality hat. They're well constructed. There's a lot of embroidery on the front, but then also across the back it has the BSO for Black Spire Outpost. I think they're really kind of fun because it's Star Wars, but not super obnoxiously like childish sort of Star Wars. I always like when we find some Star Wars gear that's a little more mature, a little more grown up. Not that I'm afraid to, you know. One small little purchase that I couldn't resist but probably should have was a thermal detonator Sprite. Obviously, this is not a new shape. My grandmother has had for years the old Coca-Cola Christmas ones. They obviously didn't have this kind of cap on them, but she had them on display every year with her Christmas Coca-Cola stuff. But, I mean, it's Star Wars. I was really thirsty and a Sprite sounded really good and refreshing, so I kind of wanted to do that. I think it was like $6, $7 for this, but I do get to keep the bottle, so kind of worth it. I mean, who doesn't want a thermal detonator? I mean, it's kind of amazing. It was just Sprite. And it was like $7, but I don't know. One time, I think it's worth it. Next was our only World of Disney purchase for this trip, which is very unusual, but my husband really liked this Star Wars t-shirt. It's one of those really nice soft jersey knits. It's not black or gray, which I know I rant about it all the time, but why are 99% of Star Wars shirts black or gray? So it's burgundy, but it's got this nice cream like decal on it, but the graphic is a nice soft one. It's not super stiff or obnoxious, because you know how when you're walking around the Disney parks, having a stiff graphic can get a little annoying in that heat, standing around for hours. So this is going to be a great park shirt for him. It was $36.99, so for a fairly basic t-shirt, that's a little, you know, a little up there, but we did have the 30% discount for AP holder, so definitely a good win for us. And his last t-shirt is a Black Spire Outpost shirt. It's got a small decal on the front and a larger graphic on the back, as well as a little one on the sleeve, so that's a lot of different graphics going on. But the reason we couldn't resist this one is because it's a pass holder exclusive for Black Spire Outpost, so of course he had to have this. And again, look, it's a light color, so it's a great park shirt. Very exciting for this one. I love all the sort of Aurebesh and the like faux Aurebesh font that they use sometimes in Black Spire, so I thought that was really neat. I like that they have the full actual font, but then they have their like fake one, which is kind of interesting to me. So this was a nice, a little fine pass holder discount, but unfortunately at this point I think we were down to the regular 20%. I think our 30% was over at this point by the time we saw this, but still, that's a great find. Lots of different, you know, graphics and everything happening, but it's lightweight and light colored, so another great park shirt. And finally, we just happened to be going to Hollywood Studios on the final day of the 30% pass holder discount. And I was wearing my full Jedi getup, my like whole custom DIY Batuu sort of smuggler Jedi outfit that I had made. I will link that video down below. And I was like really excited because, you know, I had my hair done. We're gonna take some cool pictures. We brought the lightsabers on this trip. I was pretty excited about it. And my husband was like, you know, I think they sell the robes at Batuu. So if you're in your whole Jedi getup and we can get 30% off of the Jedi or Sith robe, I could totally like pose with you. I could be the Sith to your Jedi or whatever, and we can get the like PhotoPass photographers to take our pictures. And of course I was sold, because usually my husband's not a big fan of having pictures taken, but you know, I think he's like, yeah, you know, sip pictures, sure, why not? And I was of course sold immediately. I'm like, yes. I mean, just look how dramatic these are, like very flowy and like nice heft to them, not crazy hot. I'm not like, I don't put it on and immediately I'm dying. But in the parks during the day, they were a little warm, not gonna lie. When you are having PhotoPass pictures done, usually they just scan your Magic Band and they will be uploaded to your account. Every now and then, things go wrong, like for whatever reason, their camera is not sending the pictures off or whatever, and so I have on occasion had them give me a small PhotoPass card, like a little plastic card, kind of like the ticket situation. And then later on when you get home or when you have a moment in line or something, there's a number on that card that you can add that to your account. We had this happen at one point at Batuu, and for some reason her camera was not working, so she gave me a PhotoPass card, and I didn't think anything of it at the time. I just like shoved it in my pocket because, you know, we're trying to get all our stuff together and everything. And I looked down at it later, and it's Batuu themed. Like usually it's just like a generic like Mickey and Minnie or the castle, or it's just a generic Disney image. But these are actually Batuu themed, and I love it. It actually says on here, image data card. It says Black Spire Outpost on it. I mean, it does have the little PhotoPass and the Mickey, which kind of, you know, throws things off a little bit. But there's Orabesh all over it. Very, very much love this. I'm like, I am keeping this card. Like, even though after I immediately put the pictures onto the account, I was like, I'm keeping this card forever. I just think it's super cool. So that was a nice little, fun little freebie. I don't know, well, not really a freebie, but kind of. I don't know, I thought it was cool. Similarly, we got to go into the cantina at Batuu this time for the first time. We haven't been able to make it in there before, and we were pretty excited about it. And I thought it was really funny that we sat down well, we didn't really sit down. We were led to our table. But then they put down a couple coasters for us. But when they brought us our actual drinks, they didn't use the coasters. So I'm like, oh, that's kind of silly. But probably because there's weirdos like me who keep the coasters. On one side of each is like the Cantina logo, and I guess it's supposed to be Orabesh, and then I don't know if this stuff on the outside, I don't know, whatever that is. But it's very Star Wars-y themed, very cute. But the fun thing is that on the other side of each of them, we had different images. So there's a Bantha. I love Banthas. They're big and floofy and they got horns. I love Banthas. I don't know, I'm weird. But the other one is an Ewok, and they're super cute. I'm like, yeah, I'm keeping those suckers. So I think that's probably why the waiter did not use these, because he knows there's a bunch of us crazy people who are going to keep the coasters, you know, like me. And of course, on one of our Animal Kingdom days, we had to stop by Dino Land and pick up our pass holder magnets, because, I mean, we're paying all that money for the annual pass, and might as well get everything you can out of it, right? So that finishes up all my shopping hauls from this trip, but I definitely have some more fun videos planned from this very vacation. I definitely want to talk about our really cool Star Wars photo shoot. I've got all kinds of great stuff from carrying Grogu around the parks because he's adorable. Who doesn't love him? So be sure to subscribe and ring the bell for notifications when I upload those videos. If you enjoyed this video, which I hope you did, I hope you will give it a big thumbs up. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time.